What's up, guys? Today is part 3 off the Explain It series, discussing all the songs off of my newest third studio album, 28, dropped October 6th. If you have not listened, check out the link below for my Spotify, my Apple Music, YouTube Music. You can find music all there on those 3 platforms. The song we're going to be discussing today is 3/5. I've been trying to do a song regarding this for a very long time. I just did not know how to put it together. It did take me quite a while to figure out how to make this song. I made the beat first based on the direction that I wanted to go with the song. And then once I did that, I was able to alter the beat in separate ways based upon the lyrics in the song. Once that was complete, I found a YouTube video that I really liked discussing the 3/5 clause, which is what the song is based on. And if you're not too familiar with the 3/5 clause, it was a clause that America had for a lengthy period of time that considered all individuals of color, African Americans, and of African descent to be 3/5 of a person. That is one of the biggest things in this history that pisses me off the most, included with slavery, of course. At one point in time, people considered people that look like me to be 60% of an individual. It's crazy to me that because we're a little darker than other people, they consider that to be like an issue. Obviously, it's not a huge thing now, but racism is definitely still there in our country. I would say it's going to be insanely hard to get rid of it. I don't say that in a negative way, but you got family and ancestors from forever ago, and they just pass it down. So when you grow up, even nowadays, when certain people grow up, it's just there. Like, that's just the thought process and the pattern and the way that people are wired. They're taught that from all the way back in 16, 17, 1800, 19 to the 2000s. Like, it's just there. There are so many ways that you can learn to get out of that phase. And sometimes you have to be willing to, sometimes you have to be faced with that stuff, or you just decide not to and you don't want to learn about it. And that's okay. I'm not going to sit here and demonize you for not doing that. I think it is important to get some sort of knowledge on the history of the country and learning about race as a whole. Personally, there's a lot of things within the world that we live in now that I just try to avoid, like the slavery movies and the TV shows and stuff like that. I try to avoid it because I know it's going to piss me off even more. And I try not to invest myself in it too much because it's going to just it's going to get me in like a certain mood that I don't necessarily want to be. I would rather just mind my own business, do my thing, live my life, and just be happy. When it comes to politics and stuff like that, I've only voted one time, and I literally drove 10 hours from Grand Valley State to White Lake to vote against Trump, and drove from White Lake to Grand Valley State all in one day because I hated Trump that much. And I still can't believe he was president. I still can't believe that us as a country would want someone like that to represent us. And that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. With this song, the whole goal in mind was to go over that clause itself and the importance of realizing how messed up this country was and still is. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that is still happening. When the song first starts, I talk about the education, specifically like the whole Christopher Columbus era when people were brought over, about how positive they try to make it seem when it was really all just about the money, and really always is just about the money. And that's just how we are as a human. You know, you want to get to the money and make a life for yourself, and that's cool. History in high school really didn't teach me anything, to be honest. A lot of it was because I didn't care and I didn't pay attention. But I took an African American class at Grand Valley State in 2015, and I learned so much more in that class than I learned about history the 18 years prior to that class. And it taught me a lot, and it made me care way more about African Americans as a whole. It's helped me be able to relate to people of color a little more, I would say, because it's been a crazy struggle for us since the beginning of time, and that's just how it is. It's much better now. We have much more freedom. We have freedom of speech. We can vote. We can do a lot of things, that we want to, as long as we put our best foot forward. And I just thought it was super important to put all of this together into a song and portray my thoughts into the song itself. Once I finally knew the direction that I was going to, I found a YouTube video of kind of like a TED Talk of this man that was discussing the 3/5 clause and the race and the war and stuff like that, the Civil War specifically, and just going over the periods of time in slavery in the South and the North and how everything came about. It wasn't really until like after the Civil War where things kind of died down, but slavery was still a thing forever, to be honest. And I really go into the song and I thank my ancestors because they went through all this stuff, and I don't know how hard it was. I can only imagine how hard it was. If it's hard now, it had to be way harder back then, having somebody kind of control your life and making you do this, that, and other just because your skin's darker. The whole thing just boggles my mind. It doesn't make sense. It's really just me about trying to make sense of it and shining light on that specific issue. All the main points that I wanted to hit in the song, I was able to. It was kind of one of those like descriptive storytelling songs that when you listen to it, you know, once, twice, 5, 10 times, you kind of like gain some knowledge just from listening to the song. I thought that was really important to do. Real quick though, I do touch on the fact that, you know, part of that clause being considered 60% of a person feeling less than. Imagine those people knowing that they're a whole human being and they're still being considered less than an individual like that. I can't imagine how tough that was. As you get older, you know, at surface level what happened and how things are now compared to then. Honestly, for the most part, that's good with me. I'm cool with just knowing. When I dive deeper into it, it just, I don't know, it just makes me feel really weird. The fact of the matter is, for me, I understand it, and that's good enough for me. There will be points in time where, you know, I'm going to want to learn more, and I'm going to need to want to learn more in order to just make sense of it all as a whole. I end the song with the fact that African Americans are not a race you should mess with. I don't want this to be taken negatively at all. I mean, from the standpoint of our strength now is insane. We are untouchable. We were considered less than individual for a very long time, through slavery for a very long time. We know who we are, you know what I'm saying? You can't touch a successful black man or a successful black woman. That is the status, you know what I'm saying? And when we get to that status, we're a threat. So I'm glad I got to share that with you guys today. 3/5 is a really good song. Go check it out if you haven't. Go ahead and listen to the story, man. It's a story, and I hope you guys can grab more information from it. But we'll be back next time with the 4th song off of the Explain It series, off of my 3rd studio album, 28. The next song is going to be off the press. See you later. I thank my ancestors to see through this mess out in Madagascar, trying to find happiness. The devil is a lie if you think my color makes me less. Damn. Check the body cam.
It took a civil war and cost hundreds of thousands of lives to get
3 by 5 is 0.60.